Welcome to Rum in the Dark, a show where rum experts and enthusiasts partake in a blind tasting and using their senses alone try to guess what they have in their glass. Through these episodes, we hope that you too will learn a thing or two about rum as our guest tasters try and touch upon a number of aspects about each of the samples they're trying. One thing to keep in mind is that we're not out to trick anyone. We want to show you at home that blind tasting is never easy, even for those who have tried a lot of rum before. I'm your host, Chris von Steddink, and welcome to Rum in the Dark. So welcome to the first episode of Rum in the Dark. We are here with Joshua Singh from 1423 Denmark, Emiliano Fernández-Peña from La Ronronera in Madrid, and Stefan Marzoll from Kirsch Imports in Germany. So we're going to get right into the tasting and start with rum number one. And let's see what you guys think that we might have in our glass. So yeah, if we start with some basic questions, we'll start with Josh. Like, do you think, are we going towards molasses, sugarcane? Do we have production guesses on this at all?
I definitely think molasses.
Molasses?
Yeah.
Everyone on the same page? People think different things? We're all thinking molasses is the direction we're going here?
And I think it's not diluted very well.
Interesting.
Because you feel a kind of water, so it's not well balanced.
That's very interesting to hear.
Trinidad?
So I think molasses, it's totally clear. I'm gonna agree with Josh here, and I think it's not really heavy.
No.
So I go maybe to the Spanish Caribbean, or maybe some of the British style, which they use columns.
Maybe Trinidad. Maybe.
Okay.
Could be an option, yeah, for sure.
So we're leaning column.
Yeah, I think it's a blend, probably with with multi-column and single column.
Okay.
I think
It could be a pot and column blend as well. I had when I did my nosing just after I poured it, I smelled like something that I would call a Guyanese note.
Okay.
But after the airing, I didn't find it again.
All right.
Then I have to agree with Stefan. There's something in the aftertaste that led me to think that it's not properly watered down, like dilute properly.
Too
Because
fast.
it's like kind of I don't know the word in English, but it's not integrated.
Yeah.
It's not well integrated.
Yeah.
Now, could that
do
you think that's only due to bottling, or do you think that could also be due to something like that it just needs more time to rest in bottle? Do you think it's during production, or do you think it's just bottle shock, or... Joshua, what do you think? Someone who's had a lot of experience bottling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd say that this part with dilution, I've done both fast and short.
Mm-hmm.
I've also done, where the rum gets to rest after dilution and where it's bottled basically straight away. And for me, it's been very, very different depending on the rum, if it actually has an effect. There are many, many cases where it makes no difference, basically. So for that, it can be a hit and miss. But to be fair, it's in most of the cases I've tried, it's not a big issue how fast you dilute it and how long it rests. You need to give it time to blend, of course, with the water. But other than that, I haven't seen huge issues with it.
All right.
So
And
I think they pour the water too fast inside the rum, and don't let it rest for enough time, as you said also before. Yeah. And I would go maybe maybe close to a Caroni, or maybe from Trinidad. There's also a batch from, was it 2001 maybe? But it tastes a bit like you're having the rum in your glass, and you pour a big splash of water inside, and then you drink it.
All right.
Please, so to be clear, are these samples directly from the bottle, or did you make any tricks before you send it to us?
Directly from the bottle. No tricks. We're not out to trick anyone. The whole purpose of these is to have a discussion to show that different people experience rums in different ways, and that blind tasting is difficult. And I think that there are certain aspects that people can pick up, and I think that it's nice for people who experience rum to know that it's not very obvious for everyone who does this, and that you're not alone when you think that blind tasting is difficult. So there's still a couple points that we haven't discussed yet. So do we have an estimate of ABV? Where are we on the strength of the rum?
48.7.
Sure. I mean, more specific, the better.
I think we are less.
Less?
Less. Yeah, I think we might be 42, 43.
I think it's not 40, right? I don't think it's really high. But also you feel it like it's tumbling a little bit in your mouth. It's a little bit harsh in your mouth, but I think it's again because it's this lack of time while they dilute the rum. So it's a little bit harsh in your mouth, but not necessarily because a high ABV. So yeah, probably less than 45 for me.
Okay. So I think we've touched on a lot of things. I think people have said some vague guesses, but if we go around, we'll start with Josh, then Emiliano, then Stefan. Say what type of production you think it is, country, ABV, if you can name a producer as a guess, or a specific bottle, and then finally one thing that no one's mentioned, and I'd like it to be a part of your final guess, is what price range do you think this is in?
Okay, well, I'm going to stick with pot and column blend. For wood, aged bourbon, I'm going to say 42%. What else?
Country?
Country.
Or countries?
I think that this could potentially be a blend of countries as well. I'm in with Stefan on the Trinidad part. I think that might be spot on. And I'm gonna venture further and say there are more than two countries in this blend.
Okay.
I don't know if I can place them, but yeah.
And price point?
Price point, 35 euros.
All right. Emiliano?
It's a difficult one, actually, for the first one. The first one is a difficult one, but I think for me, yeah, it's more like a single column, or probably a single column or a pot and column together. I don't know. I think it takes me to, I would say maybe Panama. It takes me to Panama, or probably Barbados. That's both my two guesses. And what else? ABB, I think it's 43.
43?
I would say 43. And I can also say that it's at least 6 or 7 years old.
Yep, that's something that we haven't discussed, actually. That's a good point. Guessing on age, so at least 6 or 7?
At least 6 or 7 years old.
Yep. And Joshua, you agree with that?
I think we are in that range. 5, 7, that
Yep.
range.
And Emiliano, do you have a price point?
Yes, less than 50. So I will not say 45 because Joshua you said 45?
35.
35.
35, yeah.
Around 40, I would say, 40.
Okay. Stefan?
So yeah, I would say also coffee, also for column style.
Yep.
Also Trinidad, but as Emiliano said, there's a soft nose of Panama coming through. But maybe also Demerara, so Guyana on top. Maybe a blend of 3 different countries. From the age, I would say also not that old. I would say also 7, 8 years, continental aged, I would say. Because it's not so deep and extremely woody. And price, let's say 70 or 69.90.
All right.
From the ABV, I would say 48 or something like this.
All right.
Cool.
And no additives, I would say.
And no additives. Are you guys ready to see what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
Appleton 15. No fucking way.
So, Appleton 15 year. So, we can go through a few of the things that we did get right. I mean, pot and column blend. That we were there. As far as Appletons go, the 15 is heavier on column than some of the other releases. It was meant to be released as a lighter style compared to the 12 and the 21. So it is heavier on the column. And it's bottled at 43%. Jamaican, obviously. And price point was around 45 to 50 euros. This specific bottle was only released in Canada. So there we go.
So that's the reason why we don't know this stuff.
Exactly. That was an unfair one. All right. So, first rundown.
That was a fun round.
That was good. That was good.
Sure.
On to rum number 2.
It's even more light than the previous one. Lighter.
Vanilla, caramel, there again for sure.
On cue.
What do you think of production? Are we doing molasses, sugarcane syrup?
It's molasses.
Molasses, we're all in agreement. And then types of stills? Or is someone getting drawn to a country which might give an idea of a style or
Really, for me, it's really light. I would say Cuban for the first impression. Cuban rum.
I'm in column for sure. I would go closer to Panama for this one. But there's a certain Cuban guy in Panama who could have made this.
So I have 3 guesses right now. I would say Cuban, maybe a Dominican Republic, or probably Venezuela. But in all of these cases, all of the 3 cases, not sugar, I guess, or not too much sugar added, and probably not so many additives. No additives at all, maybe. So clean in that part, but Latin style for me.
Sharp, so it must be young. for me, but also woody.
Woody, yeah. I'd say because of the woodiness that we'd be 12 years actually or more. But Latino style column, I think Panama, and I think we are above 45% here, slightly over.
Interesting. So slightly hotter on the mouth than the first one?
A different warmth, where
Okay.
the different one was more prickly on the tongue. I think I'd say this is more smooth, I guess, but I still feel that it's slightly higher in ABV.
What do others think of the ABV? Josh has said that we're...
Slightly above 45.
Josh is above 45. And
40, 46.
No. Less than 45.
less than 45. Interesting.
Less than 45.
So we're all saying different things.
And
aging, what do you say about aging?
yeah, around 12. Of course, maybe not strict 12, but a blend between 9, 12. I have a few in mind. I don't know.
The funny thing is, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go, Stefan.
The funny thing is that it tastes super woody, but it's super sharp. So it tastes like maybe a blend of that you're having aged stuff inside and also some younger stuff, because of the sharpness. Super tricky, but there must be also wood inside. So old age stocks, but also maybe something younger.
It tastes very, very familiar, that's for sure.
What about
Yes.
finishing or different types of barrels?
Maybe a sherry cask, but
Or port.
with so many uses.
Yeah, but then it's a finish, I think, and not aged, pure aged through it. I definitely think it's ex-bourbon to begin with.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, this is also a tricky one.
Yeah.
So should we just... I don't feel like the more we discuss it, we're getting much deeper into it. So should we go reverse order this time? Stefan, we'll start with you. So what production method and country?
I would say
ABV.
molasses, then column still. ABV, I think I said 46.
Yep.
For me, it could be a blend of different type of rums. So it tastes super woody, but there's also something inside that tastes very harsh. So it could be a blend between aged and maybe younger ones and old ones. I would say no additives. Yeah.
And then country, if you have a guess on country, and price point.
So price 49, so 50. And I would say, yeah, maybe a blend of Cuban, maybe Guatemala and something like this. So Spanish styles, I would say.
Emiliano?
Okay, so for me, it's molasses, a short fermentation process, definitely column still. Long aging process, but yes, definitely a blend. So probably between 6 and 12 years old. I don't think it's older than 12, or if it's older than 12, that part of the blend is really small. I have 4 guesses right now. I think because it tastes really familiar for me.
Okay.
So yes, definitely Latin. I think could be Cuban, could be from Dominican Republic. Could be also for Puerto Rico. Why not Puerto Rico? Or maybe Venezuela. So I have a few brands here. So if you want me, I can tell you the brands I think it could be. I think if it's Cuban, it's going to be the Selección de Maestros.
Okay.
If it's from Dominican Republic, I think it's Imperial, Barceló Imperial. Venezuela could be Santa Teresa 1749, I think. That's 17, what is that? No, 1796, I think it is.
Yep, I believe so.
Or it could be Don Q Gran Añejo, but I think it's not sweet enough to be that one. So I let it be, but I don't think it is. So that's my last guess. So price point, I think here in Spain would be around 50 to 55.
Okay.
And ABB 43, 45, but under than 45.
Okay. Joshua?
Well, column, molasses, for sure. I'm still going to go with Panama. And I think we do have some age to this. I don't think it's a blend either. I think we might be 10, 12 years old. 45-ish percentage.
That's always good.
Yeah. And I'll go with it. I think for the price. I agree with the guys. We're talking about 50 euros.
All right.
It might even be a generic bottle that has been added with slight caramel for consistency. With the color, would be my guess. Otherwise, I think it has been given a finish because it is quite dark. And my experience with barrels would say that an ex-bourbon barrel will not give that much color. It's far too dark. So
Okay.
I'd say either it's finished in wine. It could be port, as Stefan said. It could be a sherry as well. Otherwise, it has color. So.
But maybe Oloroso or something like this.
Yeah.
All right. So we've all given our guesses. Are we ready for the next one?
Read my point.
So, I think Emiliano was onto something when he said that this was familiar.
Yeah.
I think that most of us have tried this one. So it was a familiar-like taste. We can go through some of the things that we did kind of pick up on. It is not strictly column, but it definitely is heavier on the column than it is on the pot. The 12 years that people were mentioning was, I think we could all pick up that it was quite woody. So there was a fair amount of age on it. 46% ABV. I mean, we weren't off in in the wrong direction, really. Some of us were a little bit lower. Price point, we're talking 65, 70 euros a bottle for this bottle. And this is the limited edition. So that's why it is at 46%. And it also has been aged in ex-Madeira casks. So far we've done very well. We're close. We're getting closer.
Yeah, you're gonna did this, right?
Of course, we'll edit all of this.
Okay.
Even you saying this, I promise.
No.
All right, on to rum number 3. So, what can we say starting off about the difference between the other ones we've tried?
It looks like a white one.
It's white.
Unaged and sugar
So
cane
unaged.
juice.
You're going straight to unaged.
Unaged.
So
and
not
sugar cane
filtered.
juice.
Unaged. Okay.
Just to
you
explain
have-
what I said, it's not a common thing that you see a sugarcane juice rum filter.
Nope.
Filter, I mean to take out the color.
Yep. But so from the smell, you're saying that it's sugarcane juice.
Yes.
So then you know it's unaged, not filtered. Because
And when I
nail
take
one
out-
of the difficult things with these unaged sugarcane juices is they can be from lots of different places.
I'm gonna put away Haiti. Haiti is not from Haiti.
Okay.
I would go for Martinique. Maybe JM or Naison.
Okay.
Maybe.
You drink a lot more agricole than I, Stefan, so I'm going to listen to that.
So what are the notes? What are the notes that you guys are picking up on that make you say, for instance, that it is cane juice, that it is Martinique specifically, or why is it not Haiti?
You have those grassy, fruity notes that you would expect from an agricole and from a juice-based rum.
Mm-hmm.
That would lead us to column still, I'd say as well.
Maybe it could be also a pot still.
But then who do we have distilling in pot still juice? And it's La Perle, or what are they called? A1718?
Yeah,
A1710?
1710.
Because for me it's a bit more heavy in the taste, but maybe it could be also the alcohol.
So alcohol, what are we thinking here alcohol wise?
50 something, 50.
I'm thinking 50, straight 50.
So
that's generally a pretty good guess when you're talking about French style agricoles.
Exactly. So I took a little help from that.
So for me, it's really fresh. you can smell a lot of fresh herbal. For me, when I smell like roses, for me that's the agricole thing. That's what it comes to me, the roses.
Oh yeah, I haven't actually thought about roses. It's very good descriptor for this.
It is, yeah.
And it is really clean. So that means, that's why I take out the IT stuff. And this is clean, as Joshua said. It's probably column.
So we can eliminate Peranubes as well. We'll take Mexico out as well. Yeah, okay.
yes. Not that part.
Yeah.
It's clean. And when I tasted, for me, it's kind of dry, really dry. So it takes me to Clermont, maybe Cane Bleu, or probably one of the Naison, the special ones that they have, like the bio stuff they have.
I'm looking at the Cane Bleu. Can we pause the recording?
One of my first thoughts was Naison. Also, JM.
Okay, so everything everyone's mentioning is Martinique.
Yeah.
Yes, but knowing you, probably you're gonna.
Could also Guadeloupe.
But looking at the first two rums I threw in, they're not anything crazy out there, right?
Oh.
It's just, it's tough.
I would have expected you would have teased us a little bit more, putting something crazy in there. But you haven't done that yet.
But maybe it's also a blend of sugarcane syrup. Maybe there's sugarcane syrup inside, because I don't know why, but
there are some notes that are telling you it's not just pure cane.
Yeah, but I can't say which notes. It's a bit crazy.
But then, if there was syrup in there, then where we at production-wise, country, who would do that?
Yeah, as I know, St. Nicholas Abbey from Barbados does also produce on sugarcane syrup, not on juice. I think most of the time they are telling it's juice, but they produce in syrup.
I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah.
But I would go for, I don't know why, but
the cane juice makes it difficult because there are more and more people doing it.
So here, I have a question for you, Joshua and Stefan. So for you guys, what's the difference between a Martinique rum and a Guadeloupe rum? So when you taste it, how you can say it is Martinique or Guadeloupe?
I can't. My
We also not.
agricole
I can say
is way too limited, and I drink way too less of it, to be honest, unfortunately.
so. Some of the Guadeloupe rums, for me, I find tend to be a little bit heavier in style. And that's also not necessarily due to the fact that they don't have the same necessary regulations that they do in Martinique if you want to stay AOC, but they also will have slightly longer fermentations in Guadeloupe on average than they do in Martinique. So Guadeloupe, for me, something they tend to be a little bit heavier. That's not to say that it's always the case. But if I were to just in my head say what's the difference between Martinique and Guadeloupe, I would generally say Guadeloupe has a little bit more oiliness to it, a little bit funkier than Martinique, and Martinique is a little bit crisper, greener, saltier.
But could
I
you
tend
also
to think Guadeloupe for me it's a little bit more sweet.
Which comes, I often find that oiliness comes with sweet.
But could be also, I don't remember the taste yet, but Providence from Haiti, for example, is also well balanced, super smooth, and you have a blend of cane juice and cane syrup.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried that yet, unfortunately.
Me neither.
So you're throwing Haiti back into the mix.
Maybe.
No, I mean,
Didn't try it too much, but I know it's super filigrane.
Yep.
Not the typical Clarang Haiti style, so could be also possible.
It does have a lot of sweetness to it. Definitely a lot of sweetness, especially coming now. It's when it hits your tongue.
So, this time we'll start with Emiliano, then go Joshua, then Stefan, and we'll see. Let's go through the points and find out what we're drinking.
Okay, so for me, sugarcane juice, I think it is a column. ABV over 50, I would say 55 probably. And I'm gonna stay with Martinique. I'm gonna stay with Martinique. It's fresh, but it's dry. So yeah, why not? Let's say Clermont as a brand, yeah.
Okay. And price point?
Price point, I think it should be in Spain again, around 30, 35.
Okay.
33 in the middle.
33. Joshua.
Cane juice, column, 50%. I'll go with Martinique as well. It is grassy, herbal, fruity. I still get that sweetness,
Can't be Haiti.
especially just when it hits the tongue. And those roses you mentioned, Emiliano, it is spot on. That takes me to my mom's garden, basically. Yeah.
I hope her garden's in Martinique.
Unfortunately not, yeah. But still, price point, well, 50%. If we're in France, you get 3 liters for 50 euros. Back in box. Bottle-wise, Denmark, this is 30, 35, I think.
Same range.
Yeah.
All right. Stefan.
So maybe it is. It reminds me also a bit of Trois Rivières with which was the label? So lightly blue.
The Cuvée de Lotion.
No, I think he said the anniversary one, the 355 anniversary.
Like a minty label.
But not the whole bottle being one color.
No, just a label.
Just the label. Okay.
Because it has some maritime notes.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me to this bottle. So, column still, sugarcane juice. I would say Trois Rivières, 55 ABV.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know the price, but let's say a 5-liter box is
yeah.
€7.
Something in that range. Okay, so we're all in about the same range on the price point.
One thing is this is the best rum of the day, in my opinion.
I would say, what does it cost? Up to 40.
And then I'll take a beating in a second when we see the bottle.
All right, are you guys ready? Last rum.
Wow.
How did we do?
Sanche.
Whoa.
So,
okay, but this is also just just to get in Martinique itself.
yes. So we are in Martinique. We are high ABV. We're 60%. We are not column still.
No.
We are pot still, which was the little twist on this one. Which is interesting, though, that you guys were picking up that. But hang on, it's a little bit heavy. There's some sweetness there. I think that does often come with these cane juice distilled in pot stills, that you do get a bit of this sweetness. Yeah, picked up in the oiliness for me that's also there. And of course, unaged. And it is priced at around 30 to 35, depending on where you find it. So you were all bang on with the island, a little low on the ABV, but you all knew that it was high ABV. And you were picking up that it wasn't necessarily just column still. It wasn't that easy. So I mean, this one, I think you guys did very, very well. There was a slight little twist in there, but
It was a good twist.
How do you guys feel about that last one? Do you feel like you got it? a little redemption after the first two.
Well,
I think
go.
Go.
Well, I think I need to go find a bottle. That's what
Yeah. So this one is really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put this one in for the Rumcast guys. I put this one in my top 3 rums of the year 2 years ago when I first tried it. I thought it was spectacular rum.
I like it a lot, and my idea of a white rum or unaged rum from sugarcane juice from Martinique, it is La Perle, the A 1710, and it's heavier than this.
Mm-hmm.
So I always start with something that I already know, and I try to compare to it.
Yep.
And definitely this is less heavy than the other one. So for me, it was difficult to understand that this was a pot still. But saying this, I like it a lot. And I think if you compare it with the other St. James that they released recently, the Fleur de Cane, which is a rum that they produce with the sugar cane that they cut when the sugar cane it's already with the flour.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it's sweeter than this.
Oh wow!
So
okay,
it's a really nice comparison right now. I was thinking about this one, and yeah, for me it was really dry, and I like that part. It was really, really, really dry.
I also have to say this one is the best of all 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Finish it.
It's empty.
I'm happy you enjoyed it. Well, what I will say is thank you guys for doing this first tasting, being the brave first people to join on Rum in the Dark. It's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be difficult either. It just tasting blind is difficult. And I think that's going to be a theme throughout all of these episodes, and I hope to have you guys back on future episodes. So thank you guys for joining and being a part of this episode number 1 of Rum in the Dark.